which is LDN targets by themselves are useless. LDN targets are, for us, a means, a policy to implement on the ground, to advance in the implementation of the convention. So now, for the last few years also, the global mechanism has been working with countries to bring technical financing partners together with country vision and help you countries implement your vision on how we can implement LDN at country level based on your priorities. And as you have heard well from Lekran and the colleagues from PSLM, food security, sustainable land management, restoration remains a high priority, particularly in the Caribbean. We're today talking about several large initiatives in the Caribbean. We had a go at this 2017 and 18. We had a LOA with PSLM to develop a regional initiative for GCF. Unfortunately, back then the GCF window was still not ripe enough to take on board large multi-country programs or initiatives like that. So we had to put that one in the back burner, but we didn't drop this. And last 2 years, we've been discussing with GCF Secretariat and with PSLM how we can retake this. And eventually we got the signal that it could be a good time to retake it. So now we have this new Caribbean Seeds initiative that we believe will build upon the excellent work being done with FAO in soil care. So we are strengthening the portfolio in the Caribbean moving forward for more ambitious action on the ground. The journey, I have to say, is not easy. We have a lot of lessons learned. As you know, we're working with multiple financing windows. With the GEF, it's easier because it's the natural financing mechanism of the convention, the formal one. The GCS, as you know, is not formally our financing mechanism, but I think in the GCF, they are now getting better understanding that land-based projects that are transformative, truly transformative, that bring the synergies between climate change mitigation, adaptation, biodiversity, and land degradation are really, have a really huge potential for both mitigation and adaptation. So, and countries are demanding this from these financing windows. So I think they're warming up to working with us, even if formally they're not a financing mechanism. And this also comes at your request, at your demand from countries, which is very important that they hear this message. Equally with the Adaptation Fund, they're also engaging in land-based projects with us more and more, a new interesting financing window to work with. So from the GEM side, we continue accompanying this, in this journey. We're super happy on the progress made. I am not so happy on how fast we've been able to move with this one, but we're working with ECF colleagues and PSLM and you guys, so we can all push from our respective places to bring this to fruition. So from GM side, we're, as I said, very excited to continue this journey with you, and we're fully committed to continue advancing and bring this to implementation on the ground. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Pedro. I believe we have the presence of GCF in the session and, sorry, GEF, apologies, in the session. So it would be remiss of me not to ask you, Ms. Bob Semple, just to say a few words, no pressure. I know it's on the spot. Just a few remarks, if you might.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Asha Bob Semple, environmental specialist at the Global Environment Facility, working with our land degradation team. I'm also the SIDS regional coordinator at the GEF, and I'm from the region. So this is a proud moment for me with two hats, being from the region, but also at the very beginning, being a part of the team to help to review the project at the GEF Secretariat. So I'm very pleased to see the progress that has been made. I'm very happy to hear that you are building on the project to leverage additional financing from the GCF. I think that's a very positive signal. And one thing that attracted us to this project is the integrated nature of the interventions and the approach. You're looking at land, climate, food, resilience, and this is very much something that the GEF is pushing more and more, because the problems are not siloed, they're all connected, and so the solutions need to also be integrated. So congratulations to PISLM, thank you to the partners, And I have two questions, but when you get to questions, then I'll ask them. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bob Semple. Apologies. So we have with us, as I mentioned before, the Honorable Minister of St. Lucia, Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Prosper. This government has been very instrumental and supportive of PISLM, so I would want to ask Mr. Prosper just to share a few words or remarks with us this morning.
Good morning to everybody. And I must say it's a pleasure for me to be here, to be part of this very interesting discussion. And I say it is interesting because Caribbean seeds are very vulnerable areas on the planet in terms of land degradation. And the LDN target setting project is very, very critical at this juncture in terms of what I always see. We must, or we anticipate that by 2030, we will become land degradation neutral. However, this process began, as Lara said, in 2016. It is 6 years now, and we are still going through the process of preparation. I am hoping that within the next 8 years, it will be action on the ground. These projects, especially the soil care project, is very important for us in terms of collecting data that would guide us in achieving our land degradation neutrality targets. So I must say to all the partners who have supported us, we want to ensure that we will do our best to implement our activities on the ground on a timely basis. But I must say it is critical. Time is running out. 6 years have gone, 8 years left. We need to ensure that we can now begin to take practical measures on the ground to really action the projects so we can see how we progress in over the next 8 years. This soil scare project, I think, goes to another 4 years. It ends somewhere in 2026. So that leaves us with 4 more years. We do not want to wait until that time to get another transformational project. We would like as many projects as possible to be able to assist Caribbean seeds in achieving our land degradation neutrality targets. The more our lands continue to be degraded, it is going to impact us in terms of our food security. And being the Minister of Agriculture for St. Lucia, food is very important for me and my ministry. So as our farmers are asked to continue to produce more, they would like to see that measures are being implemented or put in place to ensure that the land remains fertile as possible, and it is not the opposite of having them experience land degradation that is going to make it more difficult for them to produce the foods that we need. So I want to say that my concern, the project is a very good project. I was part of it very early. I was involved in setting our targets for St. Lucia, but I am really concerned now that time is running out. I want to see action. I'm an action-oriented person, and I want to see action on the ground. So we have to do whatever is necessary for us to really begin implementation. We've been known in the Caribbean for our slow implementation rate. That has always been an issue for us, even in JEF projects. Our implementation rate has been extremely slow. And I do not want this project to be one of those that would have to suffer the same consequences. So I'm just urging everybody, all parties, all countries, the global mechanism, and all partners, let's work together to expedite this process of rapid implementation of our LDN projects. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Minister Prosper. I am going to open the floor to the much anticipated question and answer segment. I know everybody has so many questions, so not all at once, but the first question, Ms. Bob.
I guess I'll start. Okay, so the first question is related to knowledge exchange and South-South learning. The Caribbean Soil Care Project is a model project, and the JEF, as you know, works with many SID sub-regions. Do you have plans to share the approach you're taking, the the interventions you're doing, the lessons you're learning with other SID subregions globally. So that's one. Two, could you reflect a bit on how has the engagement with the private sector been going for this project, leveraging their finance or even their involvement